Hey, queens, and hey, followers on YouTube. How are you doing? This is your girl, August Crenshaw. I was attempting to go live on Facebook and they stopped me because this video got a little controversial. I know at the end of the day, all of them are, putting in their stuff to, monitor conversation and to basically censor freedom of speech. But I'm going for it anyway. I'm going to still try to do this video, and I'm going to, try it on YouTube, and hopefully I'll get another level of grace. But I'm a little bit disturbed right now because of all of the people who are uh, within the last. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that, just making sure I posted this in my community. So, we know the new controversy, right? The new controversy is, and people see it two different ways, that, Trump is saying, look, we need to get back to business as usual. We need to get the economy back going. And then some people are saying that he's crazy. He's an idiot. He doesn't care about people. Certain states, they're saying, yes, let's get back to normal, or at least semi quasi normal. Let's open up these areas. So people are livid because 2 days ago, a bunch of people were on the beaches in Florida. And so now all of these posts, you guys are so programmed. There are a bunch of posts that are coming about, talking about the first wave and the second wave of the Spanish flu back in 1918. And so you all that follow me, you know that I'm a business coach. And so this is me talking about your mindset and you controlling your health and taking the time to think. But it is also me speaking to you because I'm concerned about how you're viewing your future. I need you to understand something, that if you are concerned with the idea of potentially passing, not dying, not making it to tomorrow, if you are not sure whether or not every single where you turn that you're going to catch COVID, then guess what? When you're supposed to invest in your future, so something as simple as like paying the $27 to come to the Business Mastery Summit that I'm hosting, you won't even do that. You're going to hold on to what you have, even though your treasures can't be taken with you, for the simple fact you're going to do whatever you think you can in order to protect yourself. And so when you kill a person's vision and you kill a person's dream, you've done a great job at killing them, period. And so for many of you that don't really get it and don't understand that entrepreneurship is a journey in which you get an opportunity to live out your creative destiny, you're not connecting the two dots. And so you're not necessarily seeing this way. And then, so this is why I'm having the conversation ultimately. And this is not about me pushing conspiracy theory down anybody's throat. This is about me asking you all to think. I want you to realize something, that you don't necessarily care about human life the way that you say that you do. And that might be one of the reasons why the divine has let this happen. And I'm going to give you a prime example to show that you don't. Do you know that 20 million people back in 1974, 21 million people were dying per year from starvation? As of 2020, 21,000 people die every single day because of starvation alone. So how many of you have decided to stop going to the grocery store and buying 10 for 10 canned goods or whatever it is that you're buying? Whether we're not talking about whether it's the most nutritious thing or not right now. But you go to the store and they'll say, if you buy this, you can get that, and you can have X amount, but you don't need 10 canned goods. And there's a high probability that those things are going to spoil on you. Instead of you consuming what you need, many of us have become very gluttonous, and we eat a significant and substantial amount of sweets and food, more than we actually need. We leave food on the plate, we scrape it off, and we throw it away. But what does this have to do with the whole thing? Well, people are saying now that this second wave of COVID, when it comes for all of these people, when these states, make themselves either fully open or quasi open, that is going to be like the Spanish flu. Now, mind you, according to statistics, the first Spanish flu killed 3 to 5 million people. However, the second wave killed 20 to 50 million people. Now, how do we compare COVID to that? When only 40,000 people worldwide, there are only 2 million confirmed cases, but only 40,000 people. And we're talking about even since the pandemic hit China. So we're talking about December, January, February, March, April. It has taken 5 months for about 40,000 people to die. But yet today, 21,000 people die every day from starvation alone. We're forgetting that people are still going to the hospitals and thousands of people are dying from heart attacks. And it's not because COVID hit them and then built and then attacked them because of that underlying issue. No, they're just dying, period, because it's a part of everyday life. People are dying in car accidents every day. Whatever's been going on with life, all of those things have still been going on. And so to have the same fear of potentially seeing up to potentially 50 million people dying when you haven't even seen 50,000 people die, but in 3 days, more people than that die from starvation. That should be common sense to let you know that the propaganda is there just to make sure that a level of fear can be imposed upon you. So I'm not here to judge you with whether or not you do or don't wear a mask, or you do or you don't go outside. But I am saying that just make sure that you are watching what you allowing yourself to be fed. Don't go for the hype. And I see this is where I got cut off in Facebook, because I follow this guy by the name of Riza Islam, and he keeps on talking about reading the Kissinger the report. It's like a 123-page document. And so while I'm reading this document, one of the things that I discovered is that their peak for population on the earth, where they desire it to be, is 8 billion people. Do you know that there are 7.5 billion people on the planet right now? So how appropriate for COVID to hit to end up injecting population control. They said based on ever since the end of World War II, based on the level of reproduction, that we were looking at hitting, 10 to 13 billion people. And so they have been doing things since then to curb AIDS epidemic, all of that stuff, to curb the population growth. And there's something else that you all may think that, no, this is just conspiracy theory. That's just too maniacal. Well, a lot of people think that the feminist movement was something that was a woman's idea. It was not. It was the government's idea. Because when you read the report, what they were trying to do was psychologically dupe people to not want to have as many children. They said that it would be optimal. So this kind of sounds like China, doesn't it? That in America, that families would only want to have no more than 2 children. If you want, but what was happening is that, especially they said in the poor neighborhoods, urban areas, and lesser developed countries, that in those scenarios, that those people were still having babies like crazy. So Planned Parenthood is for the overall control of population, period. But because lesser developed countries and poor people seem to have more children, that's why they're targeted more often than not. Let's take the color veil off. Let's not even make this a Black issue trying to kill Black people. Let's just go ahead and let this just be a numbers issue. And so when you look at it from that perspective, then you see all the other pieces to their puzzle come together. There's one section in there that says that we don't know a cost-effective strategy. Listen to me. It says we don't know a cost-effective strategy to encourage more women to desire to be employed without causing more men to be unemployed. So the whole thing about we ought to work and we ought to get equal pay, all of that is a part of the system to encourage women to want to be more ambitious. Because if a man is out making money and the woman is taking care of the children and taking care of the house, then it's not as difficult. But if her ambition rises and she seizes the power of her being able to produce her own income, now she has the battle of, do I go for my career or do I give birth for children? But women have found ways to still do both regardless, because you won't tell us what we can't have. But then that's why most major corporations that fall into the government system only give a woman 6 weeks off, knowing good and doggone well that's not enough time for a woman, most women, to feel comfortable putting their children into daycare. So please understand that what you see is always deeper than that. What you hear is always deeper than that. And so your freedoms are going to be taken away for the simple fact that they want to make sure that they control you. Just to make sure that, as they basically said in their report, if we don't watch what's going on and we have to fight malnutrition, what's going to happen is us richer companies are going to have to continuously feed these poorer countries. So when they do help, what they do is they usually help in the form of tainted foods and laced vaccines. Because at the end of the day, what you all fail to realize is that the pandemic of COVID is not what's going to kill all of the people. It's the people that keep going to get the vaccine. That's what's causing the issue. So they've got you all afraid with this whole turn with asymptomatic. Please listen to how well you all are controlled. People are in a frenzy because 2 days ago, people in Florida, they raided the beaches. There are already news reports out that ever since the people went to the beach, that there are even more cases of COVID. They got to make up their mind. See, all I'm asking you guys to do is just think. They got to make up their mind. Is this shit problematic because they're constantly telling us you got to stay in quarantine because most people are asymptomatic and it's taking 7 to 14 days for the symptoms to show up? Anything that's popping up now is because of some shit 7 to 14 days prior to. Whatever happened in Florida, you all should be waiting for an exponential influx in 14 days. Yeah, so if they listening to what I'm saying, they know they need to fudge their numbers. So sometime in May, all of a sudden in Florida, instead of having almost 700 deaths, 800 deaths out of nowhere, they should have an extra 2,500 deaths in just one fucking day because all of these people went out there and spread the cooties together to each other and they didn't have it because they were asymptomatic. So I'm not going to stay here and I'm not going to linger here. I'm just going to encourage you guys to pay attention to and be mindful of what you're entertaining. Pay attention to and be mindful for what you're allowing to create your thoughts. Because if you don't, you're going to move in a state of fear. And when this all washes over, and we go back to the new normal, because it will never be the way that it was before. Many of you that could have been capitalizing on this time to do something with your life, you're not capitalizing on it because you're operating from a state of fear. So that's it. I love you guys. I'm going to get out of here. Just be careful what you're entertaining.